Good day, everyone. See you again with me. Now we are going to discuss together industry analysis on the sector infrastructure, utility, and transportation. Here is terms according to Indonesian Stock Market Authority, and we focus more deeply on the mobile operator. Everything analysis, evaluation, done through stock valuation calculator. In this sector, we have 40 different companies with various size. So we will take a look in detail in the next few slides. In this picture, we see the profile of the index infrastructure, utility, and transportation. You see the trend is going up from end of 2011 until today. So if we take the lowest number on the left to the highest number on the right, so we can come up with the average increase 65%. It's quite a significant jump for this sector. The sector index consists of telecommunication, energy, transportation, toll, harbor and airport, and non-building construction. We'll check the distribution of the market capitalization of this infrastructure, utility, and transportation. You check on the right, the biggest pie is Telecom Group, with 5 only companies accounted half of the traffic, half of the market capitalization. And next is energy with the 3 companies accounted 23%. The rest is small one. Transportation consists of 24 companies but only accounted the smallest 8%. Transportation consists of land transport, sea transport, and air transport. Next is toll, harbor, and airport, also 3 companies. It consists of 10% contribution of the market caps. And the last is non-building construction, consists of 5 companies, accounted 10% contribution to the market caps. Here our focus is on Telecom Group that operate mobile telephone by building its own network nationwide, and the player operate both GSM and CDMA system. Next, we will see the trend of the sector. We see the 5 different subsector. The blue one being stand out, and then far above the rest, this is the Telecom Group. You see they dominated in the market capitalization, and then the trend is uptrend from a year before, the 2012 until today. So the uptrend of this Telecom Group that contribute most of the uptrend of the whole sector in this infrastructure, telecommunication, and utility. You see the next is the energy subsector is the next to telecom, but the gap is so far away. It's only 100 million or 100 trillion rupiah in market cap. Is only 1/3 of the telecom market capitalization, and the rest is very small. So it's very clear that telecom accounted most of the traffic forming the uptrend. Next, we see the financial profile of the company that we focus. It is Telkom Group, telecom operator. They operate mobile handphone operator. Five company is TLKM, Telkom Indonesia, XL Axiata, Indosat, Bakri Telkom, and Smartfren. If you see, there are three tables. The first table we short based on market capitalization ranking, shown that Telkom is far bigger than the rest, 2 times more than Indosat in terms of asset, and 7 times bigger in market capitalization compared to Indosat, which is the number 2 in asset. In the financial ratio, return on equity and return on asset also stand out far from the rest. The closest is XL and Indosat. The financial ratio is far below Telkom. So if we see in terms of asset, the next after Telkom should be Indosat with 53 trillion in asset, compared to Telkom is more than 100 trillion. If Indosat compared to XL, which is only have asset 37 trillion, but the market capitalization is far below. Indosat only 30, XL is 40, and the revenue Indosat is slightly bigger, but the earning after tax Indosat losing money, and XL made profit of 1.2 trillion. Free cash flow also XL is 4.8 and Indosat only 2, is more than double. If we check working capital, negative working capital is dominated by the rest other than Telkom. Telkom is the only one who has a positive working capital, the rest is negative. So that's why Telkom stand out in terms of financial ratio. If we compare Indosat and XL, yes, the deficit in working capital of Indosat is much bigger, 6 trillion, and XL only 1.7. If we see the valuation, the prospect of the company, Telkom with the current price is 11,000. There is so much room to go because the highest point is 15,000 and the lowest point is 13,000. Next, XL, the price is still room to grow. Current price is below 5,000 and the highest point is 5.1, but the lowest point, the lowest value is 1.8. So there is a risk that during the economic hit, the price can reduce or decline so fast, maybe not to reach the bottom, but can be 4,000 or maybe going down to 3,000. It is possible. Indosat, in this case, the valuation is much lower than the current price. Current price 5.5, valuation only 3,000, and the lower value is negative. Negative meaning there is a lot of huge long-term debt that the company cannot cover if they want to liquidate at this moment or this time. So there is too much risk because of too huge debt. Next, Bakri Telkom, they have all negative valuation because they may losing money, negative working capital, and negative liquidation. Friend also, we believe that they are running losses, huge capital expenditure, huge debt, and etc. The bottom table is the historical value of those companies. You see Telkom from 2010, they grow from 11,000 going up, the highest in 2012 reached 16,000, and then at this moment the highest is 15.7, so it's still far above the current price. XL Axiata, second biggest market cap, the valuation grew from 2000 going up to 2011 almost 8,000, but went down in 2012 to below 3,000 and negative at the lower level or the lower value. Today the valuation improving, the highest point reached 5,000 and the lower point is slightly below 2,000. We will discuss in detail why there is some improvement in the XL Axiata. Next, Indosat, they always have negative value on the low valuation because very huge long-term debt. They issue so much corporate bonds with a huge number and still not yet due at this moment, but they use strategy exchange over when the corporate bond is about to be mature, so they will issue another corporate bond to pay off the debt, to pay off the mature corporate bond. TVC, Bakri Telkom, the valuation all the way negative. Only one, 2011, they reached negative only 9 rupiah, which is very tiny. Friend is the worst, never reach positive valuation. So we can conclude that only the big three, Telkom, XL Axiata, and Indosat, which have potential for investor to collect, to buy, and to hold or to sell. So next we'll see the detail of the biggest player. It is PT Telkom. They operate both CDMA, GSM, the largest in asset revenue. Well, actually the mobile phone operated by subsidiary called Telkomsel, which is 35% or less owned by some global investor. Approximately Telkomsel itself makes almost 70% of the whole telecom revenues. So you can see how much Telkom depending upon Telkomsel to gear up the top line. Telkomsel also made even more, 80% contribution to the bottom line of Telkom as a whole. So there is no wonder capital expenditure also Telkomsel accounted 73 to 75% of Telkom total capital expenditure. But the good thing for Telkomsel is the debt. The debt, short-term debt, only 55 or 54% of the total debt, or the total Telkom short-term debt, and long-term debt only 30% of PT Telkom long-term debt. Equity of Telkomsel accounted 60%. The financial ratio like return on equity and return on asset, Telkomsel return on equity 38% and return on asset 28%, compared to Telkom return on equity is 29% and return on asset of PT Telkom is 17%. So the contribution of PT or Telkomsel as a subsidiary running mobile phone is very significant. Company management, you see in this financial, keeping a good management by maintaining working capital always positive. It is very difficult for the phone operator to keep working capital positive. Very difficult. And Telkom did succeed in making positive working capital in the last 3 years. Free cash flow also always positive. You see profit margin above 25%, return on equity almost 30% in average. Well, actually more than 30% if you are talking about 2010, since 2010. Debt equity also very low, is less than 1, even though the liquidation value is negative, but it's okay because the bottom line, top line is growing very fast and they have so much funds to cover or to pay off the debt. So in this capital intensive business like telecommunication, so I think it's quite normal that they have to expand through third-party loan, bank loan, corporate debt, and etc. So if there is a negative value on the liquidation, that's fine. It doesn't affect much, since there is no big crisis, financial fiasco. It's okay. So next we'll see the second biggest asset, Indosat. Indosat also operate both CDMA and GSM. If we take a look at Indosat, we see straight to the how much debt they have. You see the net current asset is only 5.5, 4.2 billion, and how much the short-term debt? 10 to 11. So the debt, the short-term debt is double, or the cash available is only half of the short-term debt, which is due less than 1 year. So there is quite risky, because the ratio is 1 to 2 in debt. Short-term debt is very risky. So you see the historical free cash flow also slowing down from a year before. Year before is 2.2, now it's 2.1. Return on equity today is negative, profit margin negative, because Indosat running losses in the first quarter. So in the first quarter, our calculation is we projected as if the the first quarter financial performance time 4 or 12 months, analyze we annualize the current quarter. So if we analyze that, so the performance is no good. Next, we see the number 3 is XL Axiata, owned by Malaysia. Indosat is also owned by the Qatar company from Middle East. You see, this company operates GSM only. There are significant drop in the capital expenditure. If we see the history, 2011 reached 5 trillion, and then they dropped to today is less than 2 trillion. Why? Because actually there is a quite help to make the valuation still or going up to 5,000. Compared to price is still room to go because of the factor of the capital expenditure reduced significantly from year before 6.7 to 1.8. So it's quite significant drop. Is it real? Well, according to financial report, there is in the fixed asset statement, they put a record on under construction asset. So what we are afraid of, we exclude the non-construction asset because it's under construction, not real. The real one is we annualize is less than 2 trillion. But if the asset already finished and recorded in the book, so in the next quarter, if there is no significant increase on the top line or bottom line, so the valuation will be drop again. See, last year the valuation is less than 3,000, so a significant drop from 2011, which is 8,000 valuation. But I guess the management should be very careful to manage the capital expenditure, or they may contract it out for the other investor to operate through sale and lease back, or the build, operate and lease, something like that. So if we see the financial ratio, return on equity is slowing down and drop from above 20, now it's only below 10. Profit margin also dropped in quarter in this 2013 is less than 10. Gross margin also dropped from the biggest almost 100% in average, now it's only 13. That equity also, well, still high, actually is above 1. So the company cannot maintain or cannot just reduce the capital expenditure and sell it to the tower company and then lease back to them. It's not just like that, because they have to make the expansion. There is the character of the capital intensive business. Significant drop in capital expenditure cannot sustain very long, because the company must do the aggressive expansion to keep up with the competition. If not, they will wipe up by the competition, especially the big one like Telkomsel. So next we'll check to the bottom, the last two bottom company always running losses. Smartfren operating CDMA, they both took over a company, the dying business Mobile 8, and worked very hard to pay off the debt as well as to get a new debt for expansion. They cannot just think to pay off the debt, but they have to obtain or to get another debt to make the expansion. Well, the dying business like Mobile 8 that they acquire need a promotion, need advertisement, so they have to cut price all the way to win the competition, build a network, huge network, to cover the coverage. So that's why the debt equity ratio is too much. Now it's still a little below 2 point. Before is last year is 2.8. It's too excessive. It is a highly leveraged company. So is it very risky if they cannot make money or they still running losses as the last 3 years, so they have a risk to be collapsed someday. As we said that CapEx cannot, the capital expenditure can be reduced but cannot stand very long because they have to make expansion, promotion, and etc. The problem is, you see, if we compare current asset and short-term debt, which is due less than 1 year, you see the cash is only about 500 billion or 600 at the most, and the short-term debt is 3 trillion. So it's 5 times or 6 times bigger than the current asset. It's highly leveraged company. So next one is the Bakri Telkom. The still, if we check the short-term debt compared to current asset, it's 10 times. It's even larger. It's, I mean, the most highly leveraged in the telecom business in Indonesia. If you see, the debt equity ratio is 4 point something, 4.7. How can they sustain? How can they survive with a huge debt? Cannot. And the big problem is they're running losses. If they can make money, so there is possibility to reduce the debt. But if they cannot make money, how come? You see, from 2011 until today, they're always running losses. They have a profit, but it's very tiny, less than 10 billion rupiah. It's very small compared to the revenue is 3.4 trillion. It's too risky business. Okay, we can conclude that the telecom infrastructure business, the phone operator, is very difficult for the newcomer. Well, they can depend on the third-party loan like bank or go to capital market issue bonds, but cannot sustain very long. If they cannot make money, if they're running losses in the last 3 years, how come? They cannot survive. Maybe they can merger one to the other is the solution. But still, the merger is combining the debt of the two companies, Bakri and Smartfren, is very highly leveraged, too huge. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll finish up the presentation, and we'll see you next time in the next analysis. Thank you.